Hello and welcome to episode 126 of the Veterinary Behaviour Chat podcast. And today, so if you're watching this, like if you perhaps watch this either on YouTube or if you watch it like with the screen on, you'll see I've got a bit of a different background, and that's because I've recently moved house. So we are in a new house, still in Abu Dhabi, but in a new house. So yeah, that's where the difference in background comes from. And in today's episode, I would love to introduce you to a new resource that I've designed and created, which is the Trinity Treatment Plan Template. And to be honest with you, it's kind of come about through a bit of necessity from myself, because what I usually end up doing during consultations is having the patient questionnaire in front of me and just kind of scribbling on there all sorts of things, bits of information and things that I discuss with the clients, things that they find important. I kind of, it's a real sort of working document. I kind of underline things and highlight things and put little stars here and there. But then what I end up finding is the treatment recommendations that I've talked through with the client. And sometimes these kind of emerge as the conversation happens, is kind of all over the place. And later on, when I come to either summarize everything for the client or when I come to write my report, I find myself kind of pulling together all the bits of the treatment plan that we had chatted through during the consultation. And obviously I always find everything in the end, and I always know exactly what I recommended in terms of potential psychopharmacology and, important bits and pieces. But sometimes, especially the things like management and some of the sort of the smaller things that we discussed, like small management pieces, or maybe some behavior modification type pieces, they sometimes seem to get lost for me within that document. And so I thought, hang on, I need something where I can actually pull together all my treatment recommendations. And I created a treatment plan template, which I have based on my 7 M's. So if you happen to watch my Designing a Beautiful Veterinary Behaviour Treatment Plan Masterclass, I talk in detail about the 7 M's. And that's always something that I try and have in the back of my mind when I'm thinking through, have I thought of everything that potentially could be in a treatment plan? And so this treatment plan template is based on the 7 M's. Now, the other thing that I sometimes really have to kind of remind myself of is not to overwhelm the caregiver. So I could easily end up giving like a million recommendations and, the report ends up being super, super long. And then I have just found that nothing gets implemented because it's just too overwhelming. Caregivers are not sure, like, what are the most important pieces. For me, it's really important that I give the recommendations that I think are going to make the biggest difference straight away, so that we have some quick wins and the caregivers encouraged and they're more kind of on board with things and more sort of happy to continue. And so the other thing that I have actually done in this treatment plan is I've just sort of left space for the top 3 to 5 recommendations. That is still a lot. And, and I might, in some areas, literally just focus on one, but there might be some areas that deserve 3, perhaps three separate points. Let's say for management, for example, it might be that I've got 3 really important points. For example, we want to reduce or maybe even stop walks. We want to put visual barriers up. And then maybe, we want to feed in separate locations if it's maybe 2 dogs in the home, or, so there could be a number of really important management pieces. And that's why that 3 to 5 points per M, if you like, I think is quite appropriate. And I think that, that makes for a comprehensive enough treatment approach, I think, without overwhelm. Now, I'm going to just hold this up. So if you are watching on YouTube, or if you are watching on one of the podcast hosting platforms, this is what it looks like, the treatment plan template. So we've got physical medical considerations at the top. So I've got like 4 questions that I kind of always want to think through. And then the recommendations that I sort of elicit from those questions. Then the second piece is the management piece. So there's those 3 to 5 top management recommendations. The third piece would be behavior modification. And again, I've got some questions that I always kind of ask myself and think through. And then what are my recommendations based on those? Then number 4 is meeting behavioral needs and enrichment. So we've got things in there like sleep and, what needs aren't being met, and so on. And then again, from that, we've got my 3 to 5 top recommendations. Then I've got medication, supplements, diets, and pheromones. So the recommendations there. The 6th point, or the 6th M, is monitoring. So what are some of the behaviors that I want to highlight to the caregiver to please keep an eye of, or even track in terms of, collecting some data around in terms of frequency, duration, intensity, and recovery. So, that we have a plan together, that we're looking for, maybe a number of times the dog growls per day, per week, per month, whatever that might be, number of barks, that's usually quite a big one. What are maybe some of the behavioral, the more subtle behavioral signs that we're looking for? So could it be number of lip licks or yawns, stress-related yawns? So, it oftentimes comes from what it is that we see during the consult. So if I see a dog that has a particular behavioral style or chooses behaviors frequently, or it could also be physiological, pieces that the caregiver might see, such as piloerection, or I'm going to say vomiting or diarrhea, although I do then use the Purina stool as a sample questionnaire, or stool questionnaire for that. But, it could be other physiological pieces. So those monitoring pieces really important. And then my 7th M at the end is managing communication and expectation. So I just have a little checklist for, have I gone through everything that's really important? And there are things in there such as, have I discussed expectations relating psychopharmacology, if that's part of my treatment plan? So have I been really clear in letting caregivers know what to expect in terms of potential side effects when they might need to, to contact me? There's also in there, have I communicated how the caregiver can contact me, and a couple of other points as well. So I've put those 7 points on. It's basically 2 A4 pages, and you could print that out double-sided. You could have that as a fillable document if needed. For me, again, I'm a scribbler, so I would have that in front of me, and I've been literally using it for all my cases and consultations since I designed it. Because I wanted to test it and I just wanted to see. And honestly, it's been such a game changer, and it's been so helpful for writing my reports afterwards. And we all know that how long reports can take. So it's really helpful during the consultation. And you could even use it if you're not such a scribbler as I am, and if your handwriting is legible, you could absolutely use this as a document to give home to the caregiver literally on the day that they see you for the consult, before you get your official report to them, so that they have something in their hands. This is particularly useful for caregivers that are visual, that do like to sort of see things, that want to take something home with them. So you could literally write that out at the end of the consult, give it to them so that they have that to take home, because it might take you a couple of days before you get the report to them. So for me, it's been super, super useful. And yeah, it just serves so many purposes. It keeps me organized. It makes sure that I think of everything that I want to think about. It makes sure I don't overwhelm caregivers, but it allows me to create a comprehensive enough plan to send away with them. And it's also then really cool to see that the treatment plan evolve over time, right? So you can absolutely do one of these for each follow-up consultation then, and then you see how things, change over time, because we all know that treatment plans oftentimes need a bit of tweaking. It might be that maybe one management piece that we recommended initially wasn't practical or didn't work, and that we might need to tweak that, or that something else has come up that is more important, or that we change things based on physical health considerations. So there is there's obviously a recommendations piece in there in terms of what further tests might I want to recommend if we're thinking, potentially chronic pain or GI disease, something like that, or even neurological disease, dermatological disease. Do I need to think about referral? So all of those things are in there. And it's really interesting then to see how those treatment plans also shift and change over time. So that is my new resource. And I'm very happy with it. And I really enjoy using it myself. And this was literally the missing piece for me. I wish I'd had it during my residency, because there were so many times where I was like, wait, especially if you see like a number of cases in a day, right? And you're back to backing them, as I was certainly during my residency. And then at the end of it, you kind of think, wait, who did I recommend that to? Did I recommend that to that client or that client? And what did I talk about with that client? So let's say you see 2 or 3 initial consults in a busy consult day. And that might just be a super helpful tool for you to have. Okay, where can you find the treatment plan template? Well, you can find it in 3 different areas. The first is I have attached it to the Designing a Beautiful Veterinary Behavior Treatment Plan Masterclass. So if you purchase the Masterclass for just $27 US, the treatment plan is in there. The treatment plan template, sorry, is in there. The second place, of course, is in my Professional Guides ebook. So if you already have the Professional Guides ebook, this is going to be added to your ebook. And it will be in there for you to use. If you do not yet have the Professional Guides ebook, this might be the thing that really convinces you that this is a great tool for you. There are plenty of resources in there. Some of them really practical, like this one, really kind of usable during consultation. The suspicion of chronic pain document is also in the Professional Guides ebook. So that's the second place that you can get it, which is also $27 US. Or if you buy it as a bundle together with the client handouts ebook, it's $44 US. And then finally, you can also find it in the resources part of my brand new membership, which is the Behavior Case Collective, which launched at the beginning of March and has already got so many members in there. I'm so excited. I am also pretty much set on what my first case presentation is going to be, which is happening on the 27th of March. And the treatment plan template is also going to be a resource that you can get if you are a member of the Behavior Case Collective. If you would like more information about the Behavior Case Collective, 2 episodes ago, so episode 124, I chatted all about the Behavior Case Collective and what it is. So go back and have a listen to that episode if you'd like some more information. And then if you follow me on socials, if you're part of my Facebook group, the Veterinary Behavior community, you'll have seen lots and lots of information on there. If you follow me on Instagram or anywhere else, if you're on my email list, I will have sent out emails about that. So those are the 3 places you can get it. So a number of different places, either the Masterclass, the Professional Guides ebook, and the Behavior Case Collective membership. So I really hope that this is another helpful resource for you. Please let me know if you have any questions on how to use it, if there's anything that's not clear, or if there's anything that you think I've missed. But I'm hopeful that I've kind of put everything in there, and that's why I've been trialing it for the last few weeks, just to make sure that it really is user-friendly, that there's nothing else where I thought, oh, actually, I wish I had that, or we need to include that. So I've been using it. I've optimized it from what I feel, but obviously there might be something that you strongly feel would be super helpful for you. So just let me know. Okay, that is it for today. I really hope you've enjoyed this episode, and I hope that you enjoy this resource, and I will see you next week for episode 127. Bye for now.